Hi everyone, I am Rachel Kramer, a research librarian at MCC. This video will help you find primary sources for your group advocacy speech. This assignment requires you to use only primary sources. So first, let's clarify. What exactly is a primary source? Primary sources are first-hand accounts of an event or topic. They are written by people directly connected to that event or topic. Primary sources include texts of laws and other original documents, newspaper articles written by reporters who witnessed an event or who quote people who did, speeches, diaries, letters, and interviews, what people involved actually said or wrote. Original research. This includes most peer-reviewed academic articles, but not all of them. There are some academic articles that simply summarize or review existing or older research. Those would not count as primary sources because they are not original. But most peer-reviewed academic articles do present the results of original research, and therefore they would be considered primary sources. Primary sources also include data, like data sets, survey data, and census and economic statistics. Finally, primary sources also include photographs, video, and audio that capture an event. And these definitions and examples come to us from the University of Massachusetts at Boston. So all of these are primary sources. For this assignment, however, your professor wants you to focus on 4 specific types of primary sources. These 4 types are interviews with people involved in the organization or program, the organization or program's official website, their official documents, and any peer-reviewed academic studies involving original research. We'll talk about where to find these sources in just a little bit. But first, let's discuss picking your topic. Waco has a ton of worthy service and nonprofit organizations. In fact, I think there are at least 1,000 nonprofit organizations in McLennan County. A good starting place is the City of Waco volunteer page. You can find this webpage by doing a Google search for volunteer opportunities, City of Waco. This first result is the one we want. First, the webpage lists service opportunities with the City of Waco, but then it presents a very nice alphabetical list of service organizations in Waco that are not connected with the city. This webpage is a great place to start looking for organizations to highlight in your speech. Or you can choose an MCC organization or service to discuss. Off the top of my head, I can think of Pauline's Pantry, Student Government, and the Men of Color Success Initiative. I recommend checking out the Campus Resource Guide. You can find that by visiting the MCC homepage, then clicking on Current Students. From there, click on Campus Resources. These icons are the different sections of the guide, and you can find great information about MCC programs and organizations here. Now that you have the information you need to choose a topic, we can move on to finding your primary sources for this project. Remember, you are supposed to use interviews with people experienced with the organization and information from their official websites, official documents, and peer-reviewed studies. In order to interview people experienced with an organization, I suggest you visit the organization's official website and try to find a phone number or a name. For example, this is the official website for the American Red Cross for the Heart of Texas. Right on the home page, we have phone numbers and addresses for the different locations. We also have information about the executive director and the board members for this year. You could certainly interview someone in a leadership position, or you could choose an average volunteer working on the ground. Either way, by giving the office a call, you would be well on your way to finding someone to interview. Official websites are also an acceptable source for this project. This, as you know, is the official McLennan Community College website. And in the search bar, I am going to type Men of Color. This first result is the one I am looking for. This is the official webpage of the Men of Color Success Initiative. Any of the information on this page would be a great source for your speech. A third great source of information for this speech are official documents from MCC or from the organization you choose. Many of these documents can also be found on official websites. For example, let's say I've chosen to highlight the Waco Foundation. This is their official website. The About Us section is usually a great place to find official documents. Annual reports would be a wonderful source for this speech. As you can see, this annual report is a separate document that is linked to from the website. The fourth and final source you can use for this project are peer-reviewed original research studies. To find these, we are going to use the MCC Library's website. To get there, we start on the MCC homepage and scroll down about halfway. Then we click on this quick link for the library. On the library's homepage, we are going to use Discovery Search. Discovery Search is not a single database. Rather, it is a search engine tool that searches almost all of the library's resources. Now, unless you are working with a national organization like the Red Cross, United Way, or Habitat for Humanity, you are probably not going to find a peer-reviewed article about your organization or MCC service. However, you can certainly find peer-reviewed studies that relate to your topic. For example, if you are highlighting MCC's Men of Color Success Initiative, you might search Male Mentor and College. Or if you are highlighting Paul Ann's Pantry, you might search Food Pantry and College. Whatever you choose to search, always remember to use short keywords instead of long phrases. And after you receive your results, you should navigate to the left side of the page and check the box next to Scholarly Peer-Reviewed Journals. That will narrow your results to only peer-reviewed articles. So let's take a look at these results. Let's say I am interested in result number 10. If I clicked on the link title, I am taken to the article's detailed record page, which contains more information about the article. On the left, I can choose to view the full article as an HTML document or a PDF. An HTML full text will appear just like a web page, and maybe that's your preferred reading format. A PDF version, on the other hand, appears exactly the way the article looked in print in the actual print journal. From here, you do have options to download, print, email the article, and work with it in a couple different ways. All right, let's go back to that detailed record page. I strongly encourage you to use these tools on the right side of the page. They are extremely helpful for organizing and keeping track of your research. You can save the article to your Google Drive. I don't recommend adding it to a folder because this folder is temporary, only available for your search session. My favorite option is emailing it to myself. When you email something to yourself, you also have the option of attaching a citation. You can also save a copy to your local device. Only do that if you are using a personal computer, not a public one, as a public computer will wipe everything clean when you log off. Now let's talk about these citations. Discovery Search does have a citation function that can generate citations for you in different formats. But these citations are machine generated. They're usually very good at getting all the elements you need for the citation in the proper order. but they often make mistakes with capitalization and italics. For example, with this APA citation, I know that only college, SNAP, the, and United States should be capitalized. Everything else, students, new face, food insecurity, should be lowercase. So you can certainly use these citations, but I recommend checking them against a more authoritative source, like the APA Handbook or my favorite, the Purdue OWL. Finally, the last tool I'd like to show you is the Permalink. The Permalink is super important because this URL at the top of the page is not a permanent link to this article. For this reason, we need to use the permanent link. To access it, click the Permalink button on the right, and the permanent link will appear above the title. This is the link you want to use to get back to the article in the future. All right, that is how you use Discovery Search to find peer-reviewed articles to use for your group advocacy speech. I just want to point out one last thing on the library's homepage. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us if you need help. You can email us, live chat with us, call us, schedule a one-on-one appointment, or walk into room 228 in the LTC whenever we are open. Thanks so much, and good luck on your speeches.